Good evening, Monday evening, the first Monday of the new year. What can I say? It has already been a long 2025. Um, but guys, we're here for another great episode. I have been extremely excited about this episode for a while now. I used to be, as you all know, I used to be a haunt actor and everything like that back when I lived in Ohio and North Carolina. And haunts, I don't do them personally because I'm not a jump scare kind of person. I'm more of I'm gonna go walk around an abandoned building at 2 o'clock in the morning and just listen to things. That's the more scare factor I have than paying 60, 70, $80 to go to these locations that you're done in 45 minutes. But anyways, let's jump into some sponsors here real quick. As always, Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, of course, ran by Matt Warner and our ragtag team of misfits over here. We also have Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography, great photographer. She's got some big things coming up for 2025 and moved into a new studio. So congratulations to her. Hey, Wojo, thanks for popping in. So definitely if you're in the area, or if not, I know she's traveling to Virginia to do a shoot. So definitely look her up on Facebook and all the socials and everything. And she does some fantastic work. Get Moderated by Mr. Ian Murphy, another show that is on Tuesday evenings at 9 p.m. at here on Get Haunted. Definitely some interesting topics he does over there, and he can always supply some insight to some good things. Small Town Productions, Mr. Larry Eisler. Great editing skills, some awesome stuff that he puts out over there. Hey, Denise. But definitely check him out if you ever need anything, intro videos, outro videos, anything like that. He'll definitely work with you. Jeff's Traveling Boards of Wonders, owned by Mr. Jeff Whittam himself in Maine. He has a traveling Ouija board museum, and it is absolutely fantastic. So if you have a chance at an event to check it out, definitely check it out. And one place you will be able to check it out is the Maine Paranormal and Horror Con on September 6th and 7th at the Augusta Civic Center. Tickets are already on sale. I need to change this graphic. But we have everywhere from CJ Graham to Stacy Johnson, Bob Elmore. We have a bunch of people coming to it. I'll be there myself with Matt Warner, representing WPPS, as well as, my show, the podcast for Compass Curiosities. Hey, Damien, nice to see you. Hi, Lori. But yeah, that's definitely coming up here very soon. It's going to sell out, so definitely check it out. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please reach out to me on my socials, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. Reach out to me, and we'll talk shop, and we'll have a little deal going on. So with that being said, the person I want to bring in tonight is I've talked to him multiple times. He's a really good guy. Can't believe he's been through some of the shit he's been through, but he's here to talk about it now. So without further ado, let's welcome on Kris Smith.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, my friend?
Oh, just here to talk about some haunt stuff. It's in my blood. That's what I do.
That's absolutely amazing. Like I said, I like to live vicariously through other people because I don't go and do them. I think, honestly, for me, I think it's a waste of time and a waste of money for me because I don't get like the enjoyment out of it.
Okay.
But I have friends that actually their honeymoon was actually going out to the West Coast and working their way back east and going to all these different haunts along the way.
That sounds like an amazing experience for me.
Right? And he loves it. And he goes to at least 3 every year locally here around Massachusetts, New Hampshire, these kind of areas up here. So he goes every year and does them. Him and his wife are like so hardcore into it.
Okay.
Hi, Sandra. So tell everybody a little bit about where they would have seen you, things like that.
Sure.
Well, I got something we'll play for people that have not seen it yet, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. So, my name's Kris Smith. You probably seen me around the Get Haunted Network. I'm always trolling Rob and giving him a hard time. May have seen me in Boys versus Girls, where pretty sure I made Rob piss his pants. That was still one of my trophies that I hold. But besides that, I'm on Horror Road Trip YouTube. We go and we review haunts. We go through many different haunts. We also go to paranormal locations, do paranormal investigations, and we expose really bad people. We go undercover, we get the evidence, we show the facts, and we try to troll them as well.
That is absolutely like I give kudos to you because you know what? I'm a big fan. As you know, I work Spirit Halloween every year. And, I love seeing the new costumes that come out, the new animatronics, the new props, things like that. So I would go mainly to these haunted houses to see the artwork and the form that goes into these things because it's a lost art anymore. It honestly is. Because people are just like, oh, you're gonna come out around a corner and yell at me, and that's it. But the people that have been in it for a while, they take it very seriously. Like it's a lifestyle for them.
Oh, it is.
And what was it? The Great American Horror Road Trip?
Just Horror Road Trip on YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna toss it up here so people can check you out over there.
Sweet. Yeah, so you're into the whole Spirit Halloween, the animatronics, and that. Have you ever heard of the haunt convention Trans World?
I have, and it's one of my goals to make it there one year.
Oh, dude, I go every year. It is one of my big highlights to go to.
Which one do you go to? Because don't they do 2 of them?
They do 2. I go to the big one in St. Louis.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's the one I've seen pictures from. There was another one that they do in PA.
It's Midwest Haunters Convention, I believe it's called, or something. It's something like that, but it's closer to East Coast.
Yeah.
It's more geared. That one's more geared towards home haunts, where the Trans World is like the industry. Like you are seeing things 2 years before they come out.
Oh wow!
And it is just a glorious sight. Like I mean, it's amazing.
It's one of those places you can walk into and like, oh, I'm going to be here an hour, and then all of a sudden you're there 7 hours later, and you're still haven't covered half of it.
You're there a whole weekend. It's a whole weekend thing.
All right, let's see here. Chelsea Schaefer's in the chat room.
Nice.
Brandy Sampson. We have 2 people watching on YouTube, Cheat Codes and that guy. Thanks for coming and joining us, everybody. Oh, Ashley. Meryl's in here. She's the wife of the organizer for the main paranormal and horror convention.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
But no, so as you said, people probably have seen you on, if you watched the Hulu documentary Monster Inside, they've probably seen you on there. So for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer here real quick. That way, so everybody can kind of, if you don't know, you can kind of get an idea of what's going on and what this is about. So, and then I'll have you come on, and after the preview, I'll have you do like a little recap of it and everything. Sure. So, all right, let's add this to the stage here real quick.
I got obsessed with horror.
Nope. Pause it. Remove us.
Very young, I got obsessed with horror. I just think it would be fun to survive a horror movie. But I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
All right, guys. She's doing really good tonight.
I've always loved haunted houses. Growing up, I loved going to them. It's healthy to be scared.
But an immersive horror experience, you can't compare these things together. They're longer, they're more intense.
There's no topic that's off the table.
Everybody's going to wonder the why. The why is different for every individual.
There are people who need challenges. They need risk.
I don't think that this is any different than mountaineers or people that skydive.
I was drawn to it because it was unusual. I thought that this was gonna get me a little bit of fame. But
every horror movie has a monster.
I'm the owner and creator of McKamey Manor.
McKamey Manor billed itself as the most extreme haunted house in the world.
Got this, okay? You got it.
I am here because I want everyone to know the truth on Russ.
You made a big mistake.
Russ McKamey aspired to be an entertainer and became the torturer.
You go to McKamey Manor, you might not make it out.
They drug you.
Your hair may be chopped off.
I was like, how is this possible?
It's a straight up cult. The list is long.
There was a $20,000 money prize.
Some people are enticed by that money.
Today's the day for my McKamey Manor tour.
How bad can it be? Let me go see.
The show's never over with Russ.
Under the law, even if they have signed a waiver, it's a violation of your consent if that control of your consent is actually taken away.
I started to get some weird feelings from Russ.
We have a tired little puppy here.
And that's when it got violent.
How do we stop him?
Please stop, Russ. Please do not come here.
Russ is the great danger. It's not going to shock me if someone dies one day.
Come on, everybody. Come on in.
All right, so for everybody sitting there going, what the hell did I just watch? You were directly involved with this in some sort of fashion. So explain to everybody what the idea behind McKamey Manor was.
So McKamey Manor was displayed as an extreme haunt. Now, what is an extreme haunt? An extreme haunt is different from your normal maze type of haunted house. That's what everybody's used to. They go to a JC's haunted house or something around Halloween. It's a maze that you go through and you get jump scares. An extreme haunt blurs your reality of what is real and what isn't. And it's more real fears, like not monsters, it's people. And you're in situations. One of the best ways is there was this older movie called The Game with Michael Douglas. Yep. That is a picture perfect version of an extreme haunt because you don't know what's real and what isn't throughout it. So McKamey Manor latched onto that title, right? And back in the early 2000s, there was only one or two other ones. There's one called Blackout that was out and one called Hell's Gate. And so McKamey started doing this as a way that you show up at his house. It was first a home haunt. It was only open during October, and people would wait in line and they'd go through a maze, and it had the neighborhood kids working at it. Eventually, though, he decided that he wasn't going to use the kids anymore. He slowly got them out, and adults started working in it, and it turned from being just a fun family haunt into almost what people were calling a torture house, where people were being held against their will. They were being force-fed their own vomit. They were being beaten physically and waterboarded.
And quick disclaimer out there for anybody that's listening to the show or will listen to the show, there will be some topics that'll probably be brought up that I don't know if they're trigger warnings for anybody, but it's hard to listen to, is even harder to watch.
Yeah, and so that's where kind of it becoming viral came from, because he started filming all of these. He filmed everything and he streamed them on YouTube and made these videos. And so a lot of controversy happened. I mean, San Diego was a horrible, there was so many assaults that happened. There's records of people that were in the hospital because of broke ribs, broke noses. Their only medical staff was a 14-year-old child with lifeguard training. I actually, on my channel, on the Rise and Fall series, we interview her. She was there, 14 years old, having to be the medic for these adults who were getting this horrible trauma done to them. She also talks about how she was put in a situation, and I won't get your YouTube channel in trouble, but she was drugged and taken advantage of by a adult actor who ended up getting arrested for that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so all that's on my channel. There's a big interview, but yeah, that was their medical staff. I mean, right before the adults came in, he was using high schoolers to waterboard people. One, waterboarding ain't safe as it is, but two, you're making kids
Yeah.
do this horrendous act and telling them that it's okay to do.
I can't even think about being a kid and being like, hey, what am I going to do today? Am I going to be hanging out in the pumpkin patch? Am I going to do this? No, you're going to be waterboarding somebody.
Right.
Like, what the? Like, I don't even
Yeah.
know what to say to that. So how did you become involved with
So,
Russ? And
yeah, in about 2018, it might have been late 2017. I knew of McKamey Manor. I'd seen some videos years before on YouTube, and I completely forgot about it. I was working on a logo that I didn't know what I was going to do with. It was a skull logo, and had Netflix on in the background, and Haunters Art of the Scare came on, and that features Russ and
yeah,
shows all the craziness. And I'm watching it. I'm like, this can't be real. There's no way this guy is getting away with all of it. The story cannot be real. I want to find out for myself. So I take the logo I'm working on, I slap the words McKamey Manor on it, and I send it to Russ, and I say, hey, you can use this logo free of charge. I want a few moments of your time to ask you some questions. I'm saying it was about 5 minutes before he gave me a call.
No kidding.
And he was like, what else can you do? Can you do film editing? Can you do this? You need to come on a tour. And I was like, whoa, I'm not going on a tour. I just watched a video. I want to see what's legit. And
right.
He comes to the people and tells them, if this was really what you saw on YouTube, I'd be in jail. It's all smoke and mirrors. None of this stuff is real. It's all movie magic. It's all camera work. I just hype it up really good with my editing.
Now, do you think that was him living in denial from what he was actually doing?
I personally, now that I've gotten to know him personally over years, I think in his head, everything that he is doing is completely okay. He does not find anything wrong with what he is doing at all. He justifies it.
That just makes you a sociopath and
oh yes,
dangerous. Like, because it kind of seems like if you watch the documentary, and even if you watch the old YouTube videos and the Art of the Haunt, seeing this, you're like, okay, he can't really be putting people through this.
And it absolutely is.
I'm like, I'm just amazed. So now, you being a fan of the haunts and everything, what are the levels of a haunt? Like, how do they classify certain levels of a haunt?
Yeah, I mean, there's a scale for everybody. You got your, I always say you got like at the very top, you got like the family ones, the JC haunts that kind of build up, break down, they disappear every year. Then below that, you got like the brick and mortar ones. These ones stick around all year long. They might not be open all year, but they're going to open up on holidays, and they're going to have better facades, probably pay their actors. It's going to be a more popular and more expensive haunt at that. Then you have your immersive theater. I categorize, maybe this is just a me thing, but I categorize immersive theater in there before we get to extreme haunts, because a lot of immersive theater is scary and you play a character. However, the physical elements are not really there. Maybe some movement, whatever, but you're not going to get physically hurt.
Yeah.
From there, we got regular extreme haunts. You're looking at 17th Door out in LA. That is an amazing extreme haunt for anybody that wants to dip their toes into it and just see what it's like. It's one that anybody can pretty much do as long as you're 18 and up. And then Castle of Chaos out in Utah it's called Level 5. That is also a great one to kind of dip your toes into the sand on.
Yeah.
From there, you go into the extreme haunts where you have miasma, you have blackout. And these are very physical haunts that you go through. I don't like to classify McKamey Manor in there, but that's where that falls.
Okay. Or where it supposedly falls.
Supposedly, yeah.
All right. So with Chelsea says she wants to do 17th door so bad, just too chicken to do it. I mean, hey, it's not for everybody. I mean, it really honestly isn't.
Right.
Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is there were in the Monster Inside, there were what, 5 people that were interviewed that told their stories?
Yeah, well, no, 4. You had Gabby, Melissa, Brandon, and then myself.
Yeah, okay. So with McKamey Manor, you had to go through we had talked prior to the show, and you were talking about what you did for McKamey Manor.
Yeah.
But you yourself had also been through it as well.
So before I even went through it, I was doing that stuff. So what happened was I was reluctant to ever even go through it. At one point, he has this private Facebook group, and to get into it, you have to answer a series of questions that, to me or you may think they're the stupidest questions ever asked, but they all have a very important meaning to them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is what's your top 10 horror movies? There is a list of horror movies that he is bothered by, that if you list any of those, you can't come there because you will be tainting his stuff, because these movies are very graphic in things that happen.
So you movies like Hostel and Human Centipede and things like that will be
Human Centipede, Siberian Film or Siberian, yeah. So
the black market films, yeah.
Yeah. So if you put any of those, you're automatically blacklisted on it. He also checks to see if you're in any hate groups or if you have friends with anybody that's in them. So like if you're a friend with me, you can't be in that group.
No.
I
can imagine not why.
Right. So what I did at the time, I was just in his Facebook group and somebody said something derogatory to his girlfriend at the time, and I just stuck up for her. And he was like, "This is the guy. This guy is going to be my head moderator." And he
was that you kind of subconsciously trying to get on his good side, or
no? I was just being nice because what the person said was a dick comment, and I was just like, "That's not cool, dude. Like, don't talk to her like that." And so I become his head moderator. And what I didn't know that entailed was when people would be signing up to go through, I would have to ask them a series of questions. And depending on how they answer, I gave the okay if Russ would consider letting them go through or not. And the questions were very violating, I should say. They asked very personal things that should have nothing to do with the haunt, mostly all in a sexual nature.
That was probably just for his kicks.
If he found out that you had been assaulted in the past, you had to show him proof that you turned the person in. And if you didn't, there was a harassment that pretty much followed, with him endlessly texting you, telling you how bad of a person you are for not turning in the person that assaulted you.
So he's trying to play pot kettle over here. Like,
oh yes.
I mean, like, how dare you do this? But I'm over here burying people alive, waterboarding them,
Yeah.
Jesus. This is a textbook sociopath.
So what he's doing is he's finding people that are vulnerable people that are going through stuff. What he's also doing now, in San Diego, this didn't really happen too much, only once or twice. But when he got to Tennessee, he started offering this $20,000 reward. If you can last 10 hours in the manor after you start the clock, that's a big key thing. After you start the clock, you will win $20,000.
Yeah.
People who are desperate for cash and need money
are willing to put themselves through anything.
Exactly. And so people will spend their last dime going there knowing, okay, I just gotta not quit. Well, here's the catch. There's no way to start this clock.
And I think that was one line in the documentary was the clock starts when Russ decides it starts.
Yeah. Which he never decides to start it. The clock never starts. For instance, I will give a good example. On my second time, the first time I went, I just was in the front yard. They got a thing called boot camp. It wears you out. I'd say 75% of the people that show up quit at boot camp. They don't even go to the supposed manor. I put that in quotes because it doesn't exist. I only did that and I quit. There was things going on outside of my control, and I was kind of bored of, I was kind of taken out of I didn't want to be there. And I had said I would never go back. Well, down the line, he calls me about a year later. Mind you, I still talk to the guy every day, but he calls me and he says, hey, I got a film studio coming in July. They're going to be filming a documentary, and I have a young lady going through. However, I'm scared she's going to tap out right away. And I need somebody here that I know knows my secrets, can get through it. And that could be you. I was like, okay, I'll show up. So I show up. I drive all the way. I live in Michigan. Drive all the way down there. I get there. No film studio. No other contestant. He just wanted somebody to go through. So I'm there. Why not? Let's
do it.
Let's go through it. So I go through a series of things. One thing I was on was a thing called the Manor Horn. It's where you're 30 feet up in the air. You're blindfolded. You're blindfolded through the whole thing pretty much. Blindfolded, noise canceling headphones on. You're on a little ledge, and you are told that he has put another ledge under you. You also think you're on top of a mountainside, right?
Yeah.
And he tells you to just jump off and hope that you land on the beam that he put under you. Well, there is no beam. You jump off and you're attached to a zip line and you go down. Well, safety that is paramount at the manor, which he says wasn't very safe. I jumped off, the zip line snapped and dropped me. So luckily I didn't get hurt. I didn't really know what was going on. I was very confused by all of it. He was freaking out. That's when I find out that the thing broke. And now we're going on to the next thing. Next thing I get in, I have to crawl through ditches filled with water. Who knows what else? We're in the backwoods of Tennessee. I'm terrified I'm going to get bit by a snake.
Yeah.
Crawling through with water, I find a drainage pipe. I gotta go up the drainage pipe, and I get up there, puts his foot on my face almost like on A Christmas Story and shows me back down.
Shoves you right down.
Yeah, slide back down. I get back up. When I get into the room, he tells me I can take off the blindfold. I take it off, and I'm in a room, and there's 5 bricks on the ground. He goes, all right, there's a hatch in the middle of the room, and there's a padlock on it. Under one of these bricks is a key that will unlock that padlock. So I go, and the only thing was every time you pick up a brick, if the key wasn't there, you got unloaded with a round of paintballs.
Oh, jeez.
So that happens 2-3 times. I get the key. I unlock it. It's a 10-foot well. And in this well, there's numbers written all over the walls. He tells me that at the bottom of the well is another hatch with a combination lock. And those numbers have a pattern that will unlock that. And if I unlock that hatch, the clock is going to start. And then I just have to last 10 hours. I get lowered down on a winch. He then takes the winch back up. So now I'm in this 10-foot well, stuck. I'm looking, I'm seeing the numbers, and all of a sudden the hatch closes, but there's a fire hose hanging in from it, and it cranks on, and the well starts
Oh,
filling up with water while I'm in it. Let you know, you can't within seconds, you can't even see this hatch that's on the ground that I'm supposed to unlock. Come to
yeah.
find out, and this is why I say it's a scam, under that hatch is nothing but concrete. There is no way to open it. So you were told if you open that clock starts, you can win the money. You were told you can you to do something you cannot physically do.
Yeah.
It's a complete scam. So water fills up. It didn't get super high before he finally let me out, but I get out. It was a struggle to get out, but I got out. From there we did other stupid little things throughout, but finally I'm ready to be done. I'm like, I'm done. He was like, wait, we got a thing called public transportation, but it's a new version. The old version was you were chained up behind his truck and he drugged you around behind it. We actually have footage on my channel of him doing that to somebody down a gravel road.
Oh, Jesus.
So he tells me there's this new version. I'm going to sit in a trough and hold a camera, and it's going to feel like a minecart ride, right? He's going to go real fast, and I'm going to be pulled behind it. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get in this trough, and I'm laying in there, and he puts a tarp over it, and I'm like, that's weird. And I start hearing this noise on top of the tarp, and I can't figure out what it is. And all of a sudden, he pulls the tarp away, and all this mud and dirt falls down on me. And now I can't move. And he starts shoveling mud on my face. And in the monster inside, when you watch it, you see me saying, I quit. Like I just keep saying it till you don't see my face anymore.
Yeah.
And finally he let me out. I will say when I got out, I was kind of happy just to be alive.
Oh yeah.
He asked, I remember he asked me, he was like, so were you really scared? And I was like, dude, if you would have put any more on me, it was a meltdown. Like I was going to have a meltdown. I was already having a panic attack. And he was like, wow, well, you're a good actor. And I was like, what do you mean? Like I was scared.
This is real. Like,
now this is where it starts getting even darker. I had no place to stay that night. So then he's like, well, you can just stay at my place, whatever. And I look in a room and there is a cell. And I'm like, what is this? And he was like, oh, it's a dog kennel. It's a dog kennel. I mean, this is the most rigged dog kennel I've ever seen. Some are bars, floor to ceiling. Other parts are like a cage, like bolted to the bars.
Yeah.
But it's in the center of the room and a person can walk all the way around it. And just enough room for a person to walk all the way around it. I was like, I'm pissed that I'm buried alive at this point. I'm not his friend at this point, right? And I'm like, what? I got to start getting shit on this guy because I know the stuff that's going on. And I say, hey, I got an idea. I'll sleep in here. Tomorrow, walk in with the camera live and let's show the world this thing and say, this is what's in the manor. He fucking says, all right, that sounds like a plan.
He ate it up.
And sure enough, you can find that video and see this cage. Now, here's where it gets scary. Brandon went several months before me. The cage was not in that room. Somebody went several months after I left. The cage is no longer in that room. And in the video, I didn't notice it till recently when we were doing a podcast with some UK people. In the corner of the cage is a bucket. As if somebody would use that for a toilet.
Yeah. Now, when you slept in this cage, were you actually like locked in, or was it like, okay?
Yeah, it was locked. And I'll be honest, that did make me feel a little safer.
Oh, yeah.
I knew there was nothing getting to me, without it waking me up. I've heard rumors, and I'll specify these are rumors because I have not seen it for myself. he has these storage units on his property, and I hear the cage is now in there, and I've heard that people have been left in it, not like for like a day, like not for they're not dead,
but also if you think about the time of it and everything, like in Tennessee, if he's running this year round, certain times of the year and everything, Tennessee, those are some hot days down there.
Yeah, very hot.
Like,
so somebody earlier I saw in the comments mentioned, they said something about serial killers.
Yep.
When you get beaten at the manor, and you will always get beaten at the manor, it's just when
it's just gonna happen.
You know, he makes you give him your onesie, and he has so you got to wear a onesie there, right?
Almost like a prison jumpsuit kind of thing.
Yeah, but just a cartoon character or something.
Okay.
You know, and
so is this all built up to humiliate you even more through it?
Yes.
Because you know the entire time he's degrading you as you're going through it and everything like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, he keeps all of them, and in his barn on his property, the walls
don't tell
are
me this
lined.
sicko has them displayed. Oh,
they're all lined. It smells horrible. It's terrifying to see in person. Yeah.
Hi, David. My tube. Okay. Yeah, that's almost like a serial killer keeping trophies.
Yes. And the other trophy is the footage of you breaking.
Yeah.
That he collects your screams is what they say, I think, in Haunters. He will decide when it's time for you to quit. He'll go nice and easy on you for a while if he feels up for it, but eventually he knows that thing that's going to break you, and he is going to get on camera you mentally and completely destroyed. And that's how he dominates you, basically.
Because that gives him something, because it's like the power control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did this to you, and this is how you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're weak. You're weak-minded. You know, you never could do anything in life. You know, it's just the constant. So you're not only getting the physical, you're getting the mental and the verbal too.
Yeah.
So, tell me if I'm making up things in my mind, but I want to say I remember from the documentary that you had to go through a psych eval to even be considered.
So he tells you to go get a psych eval done. Now, does anyone really? I don't think.
Probably
I didn't
not.
get one done. I've seen people turn in papers saying they got one done. I don't know any person that's going to give you a psych eval and say, yeah, go have fun at this place that's going to torture you.
Sounds like a good Thursday night.
Right.
Like, typical. Now, what was the cost to get into it? What was the wait list like? Because I know there were people lining up.
Oh, yeah, you would think. People would line up to get into the home haunt in San Francisco.
Well, that was just your neighborhood,
right?
Thing like that.
Ironically, anybody that wants to go through all the way up till now, from the years that I was there and from the people that I've talked to before, there was never a wait list. You always called, and there was always just happened to be an opening for you to get in. My buddies Reckless Ben and Danny Burke trolled Russ really bad, and Ben has this whole YouTube series where he's like, I'll never get in because of the wait list, and then it shows him making a phone call, and then saying 5 minutes later, and you hear Russ saying, yeah, you come through next Tuesday. And then he was like, wow, so I lucked out, but Danny will never get in. And Danny makes a phone call, and Russ is like, yeah, how about next week?
So he's building this illusion of this is like one of the best haunts. People are coming to this constantly. There's always a wait list. And then all of a sudden, we had somebody drop out, or we just had a sudden opening.
So it wasn't until recently where I finally figured out where the number was that he was getting for this wait list. It's the number of emails that he has going to his McKameyManor.com or Gmail account.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a wait list. To get in, he says that it's the price of a bag of dog food.
That was the other thing I was going to ask you. It was like a donation to a local animal charity or something, or shelter.
Again, misleading though. He tells everybody it's going to the animal. It's going to him. It's going to him for his 7 dogs or 5 dogs, however many he has on his property. I believe Carol back in San Diego actually did donate it somewhere, but it doesn't go anywhere now. Now, you think that it's just the dog food, but it's more than that. You got to go get a physical done. You got to pay for travel more than likely. You got to put yourself up in a room. You got to buy a onesie. He requests towards the end, started requesting a number 1 from Burger King.
A Whopper meal.
Yeah. And then you have to buy face paint. You have to buy batteries. You have to buy duct tape. You have to buy flashlights, gloves, sleeping bag, and towels. It roughly cost you about $250 to go to McKamey Manor.
Yeah. Jesus. And this is what you're going through. Oh, okay. Fantastic.
Right.
So you went through, you had your experience and everything. Now, this is the question I asked you earlier. We got about 15 minutes left in the show. That this hour's gone quick. I had brought up to you earlier when we were off air that, in the documentary, there were people that have gone multiple times. And the question I posed to you was, I thought was a decent question because of you have to start looking at the people that are going to this haunts, the ones that are doing it multiple times. When does it come to a fact of them just being a masochist? Or when does it come to a fact of people actually enjoy it?
So I think this could be answered a couple different ways. Let's say it's any haunt. Let's say it's not McKamey Manor. Somebody just likes to go and get roughed up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going and that's what you're into, that's your kink, then so be it. If that's as long as it's consensual, right? That's okay. Now there should be lines, and these other haunts out there have those lines. They know what's morally right. They know what's going too far. You're not going to go to 17th door and have certain things. You're not going to get punched in the face, Are you going to get tased? Probably, because guess what? You consented to that, and they consented that they were going to do that. But if at any point in time you revoke consent, they stop. McKamey Manor does not. They are known for no safe words and no quitting.
Yeah, I remember in the documentary, you hear him saying, "Oh, come on, you can do more. You got this." And you could tell his tone changes. Like almost he's trying to coerce you into staying and doing it more.
Yeah.
Instead of just giving up.
And so when it comes to Russ and people coming back, it's a little different of a story. These people have gone through, and usually he'll pick somebody who comes in very timid, somebody they could probably break within minutes, right? But he lets them get a little far. And then he doesn't completely break them. Maybe they get tired, or he just says, "You're not going to make it through. But you did great. You can come back next time." And then he builds up their confidence. Now he knows that he can get them to go to that well, or to get them to go to something else, because he's built up their confidence. He's going to have them back. And that's where you see these people go numerous times. Yeah, you see people go through over and over again, but eventually that one time when it gets really bad, they don't come back.
Yeah. Oh, that guy from just watching on YouTube, he said, so the cost of it is you're basically restocking his torture supplies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's I mean, the duct tape, all these other things. I'm sure you don't leave there with any of that shit.
No, you don't.
So, I mean, but you had said that the one young lady in the video, Melissa, also went through it twice.
Melissa,
it was a Gabby.
No,
okay.
Gabby just went through once.
Okay.
Melissa, I believe, went through. She might have even gone through 3 times. I think the movie only makes it sound like she went through 2, but I could have sworn she went through 3. And the last time though was the big what if moment, like what
Yeah.
happened, you know. Um,
What will happen next if I come back?
right. Well, she had that moment where she fell asleep, and then the creepy text message that suggested, did something happen while I was asleep? You
Yeah.
know? And so that was her big thing. Before that, though, like, let's pretend that conversation never happened. Melissa would have probably have gone even more because she wasn't getting those extremely rough things happening to her.
Yeah.
You know, he was toying with her. To her, it was more mental. And to the people in the movie, Gabby, Brandon, myself, Melissa, Brandon has said it many times. Our tours have not ended, right? The mental abuse, the
It continues
attacks,
on.
they continue to today. Me and Brandon have had the threat of an $8 million lawsuit on us for the longest time now. He keeps on trying. He can try harder, but we're not stopping. We confronted him in person in St. Louis,
Oh, really? Okay.
and
Because I'm assuming he went to Transworld.
yep, and he tucked tail after he tried calling us out, thinking we wouldn't.
Of
And we
course.
followed him around for 20 minutes with our cameras, and we let everybody at Transworld know what kind of a POS he was.
Jesus Christ. Like that just so if you could say what you went through, what did you personally take away from your experience there?
Don't trust
Did
people.
it prove anything to yourself? Like, did it like say, okay, I can do this, or
It showed me I
don't
can
put
hold
yourself
my.
in situations where your parents told you don't get into cars with strangers?
Yeah, I mean, it told me not to trust the creepy guy on the internet.
If only we would have known. No.
No, I didn't take anything away from my tour. It was trust that was taken. And stuff didn't end right then and there. He would hold the weight of, like, when he broke up with his girlfriend, she would try running and kind of fleeing the scene from him, getting away from him, and he would want
Yeah.
to pull her back. And he would ask me to reach out to her and tell her that she was in the wrong, that she needs to give him a second chance. And if I didn't do that, then he was going to off himself.
Oh, so he's playing into the pity me, pity me. If you don't
Yeah.
do this for me, I have no reason left.
Yeah. For Ashley, technically, since we intervened back in July of last year, or 2023, actually. Oh my God, it's been that long.
Yeah, it's
July of
2025.
2023, nobody has gone through that we haven't had be a plant. And it always ended bad for him. Reckless of Ben series, they show up while one of the tours is going on. They show up, all of them, with a car. They have it break down. They have a smoke machine go up. It's hilarious. They just troll the shit out of them until the cops come.
Oh, good
It's
Lord.
great. But nobody has gone through that hasn't been a plant since July of 2023.
Oh, wow.
And it's because we find out through the group who's going to go through, and we reach out to them and we tell them the warning signs, and we suggest alternatives to them, which is what I do on Horror Road Trip. And because of that, I'm happy to say that Russ has now moved into the karaoke community. I was actually talking with them tonight because
Weird shift.
yeah, he's getting banned from all the karaoke places, and since then he started harassing these owners of this karaoke community, telling them they suing them for slander and threatening them. Like, it's insane. The guy's crazy.
Okay. That
It's a
is
weird
he just
story.
looking for any sort of handout cash grab he can get?
Well, I think that he's using karaoke as a new place to recruit people to come through the manor and getting away from social media.
Makes sense. That would make sense.
Find a singing buddy. Hey, you want to see something really cool and scary? And he has him getting
And
those.
some people are just that gullible and will be like, yeah, I want to see something cool.
Yeah.
Good Lord. That just to me is, I will say to the people that have gone through this haunt, kudos to you. Kudos to you, because I would not have the balls to do that at all. At all. I'd be throwing fists. I don't care. Sue me. I don't give a shit. I'd be throwing haymakers. But the people that are out there that have gone through it, not only once, but multiple times, and did make it very well through it, hats off to them, honestly. Because like, I know there's some people out there that are like, oh yeah, there are great haunts out there, and everything like that. Excuse me. The one thing that does kind of concern me is we'll kind of shift away from McKamey Manor. We'll kind of do a wrap up on it at the end. But you said you're from Michigan.
Yeah.
Ohio has the highest amount of haunted attractions and houses than any other state in the country.
Does it really?
118 compared to 104 in California.
Okay.
So Ohio is not all right. Like there's something going on with Ohio. That's why the hell I live.
Hey, I'm from Michigan. I'll agree with you 100%. There's something wrong with Ohio.
I'll take that because of context. But yeah, I see like during Halloween time every year, I see like them release a map of like, oh, well, this state has 32. This state has like, I think Massachusetts has like 27 or something like that. And these are from like your haunts that like are set up in the basement of a moose lodge or something that they're running for a charity, and it goes all the way up to like your extremes.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like the extreme haunt is more prevalent out on the West Coast than it is the East Coast.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely is. And a lot of the extreme haunts don't operate during haunt season. Besides 17th Door.
Do you think it's just because of the amount of people that would want to go through it, or?
I think a lot of the people that partake in those haunts, one, they're very expensive to go through. They're going to other, seasonal haunts that are going to be around more, and they know they can capitalize off season by getting those people that just need that little fix.
Yeah. Because it's year round. It's like there's places up here. Barrett's right here. I live right down the street from Barrett's Haunted House.
Okay.
One of the very good ones up here in Massachusetts, so I've heard. My buddy that went on his honeymoon, he goes there twice a year. He goes once during the haunt season, during the actual like October to whenever, and then they do a Christmas thing.
Yep.
Where it's like dining with the actors or something like that, but they're all in character, and like the haunt sits right behind a place called Abington Ale House. Okay. So the cost of your ticket includes dinner.
Oh, nice.
So you go, you have dinner and everything. The actors are like walking around and everything like that, and then you go and do the haunt. So I mean, and they do it every year, and they have that quick of a turnaround time between them closing in October to opening back up in late November, early December. So, but they only do it like a couple days out of December. I think they only do it 2 or 3 days out of December.
Okay.
Because normally a lot of the times, because I actually was going to work for them as an actor, but I got hired on as a full-time employee at Spirit. So I was like, I'm going to make more money.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry guys, sorry to waste your time going through the interview and everything like that. But, I really appreciate it, and it's funny because a lot of the times I'll see the owners and the managers and everything from this haunt come into my Spirit and buy like fake blood, makeup, this, that, everything else.
Okay.
So I see them all the time and I laugh at them and I'm like, I'll toss you a discount. Don't worry.
Right.
Like just stay on my good side. All right. So let me ask you this. You've done this horror road trip and everything. What have been your top 5 favorite haunts?
Top 5 favorite haunts. Do I count Extreme in there?
If you want to count Extreme, that's fine.
Okay. I would say Crucible is my number one by far. That is a very special one that holds my heart. That is in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
It's a endurance extreme haunt that takes 8 hours to get through. I'm one of the few that have gone through at the highest level without quitting. It is a
Not
endurance.
to pat yourself on the back or anything.
No. I hold that one like that. That one was a beast to get through.
That's your trophy. They hold that up proudly.
17th Door, where that guy is from. An absolutely amazing haunt. It's fun. It's like being on. To me, it feels like being on a Hollywood game show. The sets are very bright and cool, and like you will experience stunts that you didn't know were possible in a haunted house. Hardly anything will really hurt you there. You'll get zapped a few times, but that's about it. But it's amazing one if you can do that. From there on, Michigan, Rodden Manor.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
It's a trail. It's great because it's a trailer haunt, but you don't know that it's a trailer haunt. The facade on it, the effects.
Yeah.
It looks like you're actually going into a mansion, but it's all just little storage units that you're going through. And you'll be oblivious to it unless you've heard it from me. We got Scarefest or Scream Camp in Michigan. That was another one that I love. And then probably Haunted Hoochie in Ohio. That's
a popular one.
Yeah.
That's definitely a popular one. My sister and brother-in-law work at one down in North Carolina called Kersey Valley.
Okay.
Spooky Woods or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He does the makeup because he actually has a degree in special effects makeup and everything that he got from Tom Savini's school in PA.
Okay.
So he does a lot of the makeup and a lot of the prosthetics and everything for the haunt, and my sister acts in the haunt.
Cool.
I've been through it before because that's one of the locations I worked at when I lived down in North Carolina. But I mean, it seems like over the years, haunts have really become a forefront in today's society, because I remember back when I was a kid growing up, like once you hit your 14, 15, 16-year-old years, you're like, I don't want to go to some stupid haunted house or a corn maze or something like that. Let's go sit in a cemetery. Let's go, break into an abandoned building somewhere. Let's go do that.
Right.
But it seems over the past couple of years that haunts have really made a big comeback.
They have.
And it really surprises me the amount that pop up.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the guys from Get Haunted, Jeff Benson, he runs his own haunt out here in Connecticut.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, it just amazes me to see like how far it's come.
It is a money-making industry right now. I mean,
now, do you think of one location? Well, if you had it a couple locations, say you have one on the East Coast, one in the Midwest, one on the West Coast, that stayed open all year round, do you think they would make bank all year round?
Castle of Chaos in Utah is open all year long, and they are profiting. They're doing well.
Oh, because it's like, hey, honey, what do you want to do for Valentine's Day? Do you want to go to dinner? No, let's go to this haunt.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much how it's playing out these days, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go do something different. Let's go get scared. Let's, know. And then you just throw an escape room in on there and you're good to go. You got a whole night planned.
There you go. Done and done. And that was another big thing that has gotten huge in the last couple of years was an escape room.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've done a couple of them in my time, but there's one that I really want to get to. It's actually out in Vegas, and it's the escape room. Yes. I want to go do that one so bad.
I'm right there with you.
Like, not only am I a fan of the movies, but I've seen pictures and I've heard of people that have gone through it, and they're like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, fantastic. So back to McKamey Manor here. We're now 2025. What was the final result of what you guys did for the documentary, and what was the windfall, I guess you could see from that?
So right after the documentary came out, it caught the attention of the Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
The Attorney General then opened up a investigation into the business practices, which Russ quickly then sued the Attorney General for violating his First and Fifth Amendment rights. He also tried to sue some of us from the Hulu doc, but only got one of them to stick. As of the 23rd of December, he lost the case against suing the Attorney General. So now the investigation is moving forward, and he does have to answer questions that
he may not like.
Yeah. And
that's what's called facing the music.
Yeah, because and on our website, McKameyManorRoadTrip.com, we have all the court documents that show if anybody wants to follow the process that happened. And in there, in the exhibits, we have the questions that are asked. And for him to answer those under oath, I know what those answers are, and those do not tend well for him.
That is definitely gonna so you said that court is proceeding. Is there a scheduled date for it yet or anything? Do we know when we're going to have results?
It's an open investigation.
So once they conclude the investigation and decide if we're going to charge you or not, then...
Yeah, I mean, this all happened right, the day before Christmas. I don't know. I know originally they had given him a date that he had to have the questions answered by, but then he sued them and that kind of paused
Stop
everything
things a little bit, yeah.
So I don't know if it's now an ASAP thing or if they gave him a new timestamp on or a new deadline.
It seems like it's just a stall tactic for him.
Oh, definitely. He was just trying to buy time for sure.
That's insane. That's insane. All right, Kris. Well, we're at the end of our show. So tell people where they can find you on all the medias, Insta, YouTube, Facebook, wherever they can get to you at. I'll post them again on my my personal page once the show's over and everything. But find people or tell people where they can find you and watch what you've done and what you have coming out next.
Yeah. So check out Horror Road Trip YouTube. We do have a series called The Rise and Fall of McKamey Manor, and it goes through year by year of how extreme the haunt got and the horrible things that happened each year. You can also find us doing immersives and haunt reviews, and we are on Facebook at McKamey Manor Road Trip. That is our exposure group. If you want to come in and follow that and stay up to date with it, or go to our website.
I kind of want to now. I'm surprised I'm not part of it yet.
Yeah, come and find. I'll send you an invite.
I appreciate that.
And then you can also just go on our website, which is McKameyManorRoadTrip.com.
Fantastic, fantastic. And what do you guys have coming up here soon? I know the haunt season just ended for the seasonally at least.
Yeah.
Do you guys have things lined up for 2025 that you want to go check?
So we are working on a few things. We're working on some projects. We have a possible online immersive show coming soon-ish. Like when I say soonish, it's probably going to end up being the fall of next year. But,
at least you're honest.
We're working on it. That's getting going. I'm working on a few undercover series. Going in and trying to expose some more big bads. And I also offer that out to anybody that's watching. If there is somebody out there that's doing something that's heinous like Russ McKamey and you want them exposed, send me the information of what you have and I'll look into it and see if that's the type of person that we want to show their true colors to.
You're like that guy from To Catch a Predator.
Oh, right. Yeah. Chris Hansen.
Yes. You're literally like one of those, you make it through the haunt and you come around the corner going, well, what are you doing here?
So I can't say much about this project. I'm on a project that's it's going to be big, right? It's not going to be on YouTube and that. And I had to go undercover and it was the wildest thing that I have ever done. And hearing the stuff that people say when they don't know you're recording and the danger that you're in,
yeah,
it's a rush.
I mean, do you ever have those moments of like, shit, yeah, I got him?
Yes. Yeah, you have that like, oh, just keep talking. You are giving me gold now.
You're just digging your own grave right now. Keep going.
And then I'm thinking in my head, how do I get out of here alive?
The fact that is your second thought, really shows you love what you do.
Right. you got to do what you got to do.
No one's gonna
be
like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this haunt undercover and expose these people for what they are. And yeah, I got a confession. And then you're like, all right, how do I get out of here now? Like,
I gotta go.
This is where I live now, I guess. So, but Kris, thank you so much for coming on. I've like, since I've watched the documentary, I've wanted to have you on. I know you came on and did the trivia show with us a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back on once you start dropping new episodes for your road trip and everything like that. And definitely push it. I'd love to get you out today here to the East Coast to get you some good places out here.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd have to confer with my buddy and find out from him like what are the good ones around here, because like I said, I don't go to them.
Yeah, I'll come out that way. I got some friends out there. It's been about a good year since I've been out that way, so
okay,
I'll
fantastic.
come out that way soon.
Yeah, well, look forward to like actually finally meeting you in person and actually like, sitting down and picking your brain for a little bit more than this. But what you're doing though is fantastic. I mean,
thank you.
What would you say in your final thought? I guess you could say we're going old school Jerry Springer here.
Okay.
What do you think would be the most exhilarating thing about going through a haunt is for you? What is the most exhilarating thing? What is that keeps you going back constantly?
The surviving, just the being immersed in surviving your own horror movie is what gets me. Like I love forgetting about reality and thinking that I'm in this world of whatever haunt this is that I'm in.
That's awesome. Well, Kris, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I know that people in the chat room have had some good questions and have been watching. I can guarantee you that. So, but Kris, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you.
You're absolutely amazing. I will catch up with you here soon. I'm going to wrap the show and we'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that was Kris Smith. So definitely check him out. McKamey Manor, check him out. Monster Inside on Hulu, check it out. I will post on my Compass page that is shared to all my socials, the website to get to his YouTube channel, to get to the Facebook page, all that and everything. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Next week, I'm working on something right now. So, but we'll kind of see how it plays out. I mean, I kind of got a trick up my sleeve, but we'll see. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming out on a Monday evening. I can't think of a better way to spend my Monday evening than with some great people. So you guys are absolutely amazing. I love you guys all to death. I couldn't keep, and I say this every week, and I mean it every week, and it just grows more and more and more for me, is I could not do this without you. Without you guys listening, without you guys going back on Spotify and Amazon Music and listening to the podcast, I couldn't keep doing this unless it was for you guys. So please share the page, get my followings up on Compass page, on Instagram, everything like that. And we will see you next week. Be on the lookout for some definite announcements.